How's it going, everyone and everybody? Happy New Year. This is Luxeley, in the spirit of the new year, telling a New Year's story. This actually spins the clock back to college when I was a semi-pro drinker. How I'm not an alcoholic now is beyond me, because I used to drink like a fish on drugs back in college. But here's the thing. Spinning the clock back, early 90s, me and my buddies, Christmas break during college. There were 6 of us, and 3 of us stayed home. 3 of us went away. I was among those who went away to college. And when we came back or got together, the reunion around Christmas time, New Year's, that break, we used to go out drinking, because that's what young idiot men do. See who could drink the most, and at the end of the night, whoever was the biggest douchebag, which usually was me, he had to buy everybody food at the diner, because we were all losers and nobody went home with a woman. You know, that just didn't happen. So he just always wound up at the diner at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. He's got the turrets up, Lux. Don't. Okay, now you can shoot him. Go for it. So we all would wind up at the diner or whatever. So here's the thing. We were very responsible drinkers. We were semi-pro drinkers. We were responsible. We had a designated driver. And this was a task that I didn't particularly like. But had to be, thanks for playing, I had to be a responsible person and be a team player. So, yes, I would be a designated driver on occasion, but I had to have my little fun. What I used to do is I used to drive my friends home at the end of the night. And you know what it's like when you're the sober guy dealing with like 4 or 5 drunks, because it's like watching the Wiggles with a 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old's like, that's so funny. Aren't they great, the Wiggles? And I'm like, I hate the fucking Wiggles, okay? But you can't say that, and, so you go along with it. You pretend it's funny, but this just doesn't end. This goes on for 3, 4 hours, especially when you're stuck at the diner with these guys. And for some reason, when we would go to the diner, I would sit there and I would order a burger, bacon cheeseburger, or a roast beef sandwich, one of the two, and I'd always get fries, because I figured, I'm the douchebag of the night, thanks for playing. Speaking of douchebags, everybody hates when I do that, right? So I was figured, hey, I gotta, buy everybody food, because I'm the douchebag of the night. So I figured, I'm buying myself fries, I'm gonna spend a lot of money here. But for some reason, people used to think that my French fries were community fries. So I got smart after a while. As soon as my fries came, I just licked all the French fries so nobody would touch them. It works. Try it. Definitely works. I guarantee it. So we would go out, hit the diner, and then I'd drive everybody home, being the designated driver. But of course, being the true douchebag that I am capable of being, and I suggest you only try this with friends. Don't try this with strangers, because it doesn't really work so well. Now, don't go in the water after this guy. What's wrong with you? There's always somebody following me when I do this, and it's always another hunter. Thanks for playing. So I'm just like, okay, so we're in the diner. I drive him home, and I had this little trick that I used to do. I used to drive my friends to the wrong house. Because they were so trashed. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. They were half asleep. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. This was like pure entertainment for me, because I would just like get them back for all the stupid jokes, because they're drunk and they're saying stupid things, like an inside joke. Like I said, it's watching the Wiggles with a 4-year-old, except they talk like Ozzy Osbourne, like, Sharon, get me what did I want to eat? I went to the diner, right? And I just sucked down a bottle of ketchup because I just realized that I was a vegetarian. So they sound like Ozzy Osbourne. And you don't know what, you don't understand them. It just goes on for hours. So I want some payback. I want some revenge. So I drive them to the wrong house. And I just hang out a little bit away from the house in the dark and just watch the fireworks. Because first, they don't realize it's not their house. Because like I said, they're trashed, they're half asleep, and they're trying to open the door. My friend Pete's there, and he's like trying to open the door, and he can't get the door open. He's like, getting all frustrated. You see him like Frankenstein on crack. He's like, ah! He's like freaking out. So then he starts pounding on the door, porch light goes on, somebody comes out, fireworks ensue, and, is that evil? Leave it in the comments if you think that's evil. Like I said, these are guys I grew up with since I'm 6 years old, and they're not my friends anymore. But the point is, I just used to have a little harmless fun. Well, they got me back. It was about a year later, and we went out drinking, and I was not the designated driver, so they went to drive me home. And I was trashed. I was, and the douchebag of the night award goes to, the envelope, please. I don't need the envelope. I know it's Luxeley. So they drive me home, right? But of course, they don't drive me home. So I go out in this house. It's this beautiful house, and I'm drunk out of my mind, half asleep. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's dark, and I'm not even sure where I am or who I am at this point. And I can't. I'm trying to open the door, and the key isn't working. And it's dark, and I can't see anything. I have no idea what's going on. And I don't want to start pounding on the door because my father, growing up in my house with my dad, it was just kind of like, Tony Soprano. And it's just like, no, I don't want to fuck with my dad and wake him up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So then, somehow, I think like this is where angels intervene. And they're like, hey, Luxley, look for the spare key. So I think I took the wrong keys or something. So, that's what drunken logic suggests. So I'm like looking around for the keys, and I'm looking in the mailbox, I'm looking under the mat, I'm looking behind the shutter, I'm looking, behind the bench on the porch. I can't find it. I'm like going crazy. So I'm like, really? My friends are still sitting there, and I don't realize they're cracking up in the car over there. But I'm just, I look to them and I shrug like, there's something wrong. I can't figure it out, Sharon won't let me in the door. I went out, I got legless, and next thing you know, I was hearing Black Sabbath songs in my head. But, I just can't figure out what's going on. So somebody turns on the porch light. And they open the door, and there's this girl half asleep, wearing sweats, no makeup, hair back, kind of cute. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, Debbie Gibson, what are you doing in my house? Because they dropped me off by complete accident in front of Debbie Gibson's house. So I was just like, what is Debbie Gibson doing in my house? It's just not registering with me. They really got me good. So she was actually, she was really, really cool because she could have called the police. She could have thought I was some fan stalker, which would have been amazing because this is the early 90s. And at this point, she's no longer a pop star from the 80s, But nevertheless, she probably liked the idea of somebody stalking her, to be honest. But I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea who she was, sort of, where I was, et cetera, et cetera. It was just hysterical. So she's like, who are you? And I'm like, my name's Peter Jacoby. I had to throw out my friend's name. So I was smart enough to do that. That's that angels interfering with drunks again. So then she's like, well, why are you here? And, I thought, and I wasn't trying to be funny. I just was, drunken logic said this makes sense to me. So I'm rooted. All right, I'll be okay. Dude, just disengage. Oh, that's on cooldown. I was just going to say, you're a hunter. You got Master's Call, disengage. Well, I don't want to summon my pet with the macro Master's Call. But anyway, I'm like, all right, fine. You got me. And this made sense to me. So my response was to her question, which is, why are you here? I was like, I needed to borrow some milk. That was my answer. It made sense to me. She just started bursting out laughing. At which point, my friends just, took mercy on me, and they went over, and they immediately recognized who she was, because this is about maybe 5 years removed from the height of her popularity and stuff. So she was a recognizable person, especially with that nose, And it was just so funny. They just took mercy on me, and they came out and they bailed me out, and they explained what was happening, and she was like really, really super cool about it. So, yeah, Debbie Gibson, really cool. Cool girl. Music. All right, we'll say it's cool just for the record, but no, it's not. It really isn't. But that's a true story. That was hysterical. How I'm not an alcoholic nowadays with how much I drank in college is just amazing. It's a beautiful experience when you throw up bile. It's just a great thing. But yeah, don't drink. That's when you're young, a young guy, and you think, Oh, the best way I could be macho masculine is to prove to all my friends that I could drink more than them. No. No. Because as soon as I hit like 30 years old, I just kind of realized that this is stupid. Winning the douchebag of the night award is just dumb. It's just dumb. You think it's really cool when you're 21, 22, 23 years old, but you hit 30 and you're just like, I don't want to be this guy. At least I did. And I just said, this is dumb. I'm not doing it anymore. But I will camp the graveyard because it's fun. And because I need payback from all the other times that they camped me in the graveyard. It's like that little puppy dog that used to get abused by other dogs when it was a puppy, and it grows up and it hates other male puppies because it used to be abused. Well, that's why I camped the graveyard, because back in Lich King, I got killed in the graveyard over and over and over again. Luxeley saying, whatever it is by you, morning, afternoon, or night, say hello to Debbie Gibson. Happy New Year. Make it awesome. Luxeley out.